There is a widespread misconception/disinformation about the Hadith, in the minds of not only the non-Muslims but also some Muslims, as if they are purely the personal utterances of the Prophet, pbuh, devoid of divine sanction, hence not to be taken as seriously as the Holy Quran. Earlier Hadith skeptics, during the 7th and 8th centuries, include Caliph Ma'mun, Wasil ibn Atta, al-Jahiz, Durar ibn Amr, and Ibrahim al-Nazm, calling them contradictory, absurd and blasphemous traditions. In the 9th century the jurists and qadis started applying the Quran, Sunan and Ray, personal opinions/reasonings, in decision-making and in religious matters. Then the traditionalists started being alerted, so started collecting the Ahadith. Their purpose was strict adherence to Quran and Sunnah excluding Ray. In the second half of the 9th century from the traditionalist al-Hadith group, Imam Shafi'i compiled Asul-Ul-Fiqh, Science of Jurisprudence. It includes Quran, Prophet's Sunnah, Consensus, Ijma', and an analogy, Qiyas no Ray. An example of Science of Hadith verification, Mustalah al-Hadith, by a Syrian traditionalist, Heth expert Salah al-Din al-Idalibi. There are several conditions for the veracity of a hadith, the last two of which are the absence of hidden defects, and shudhud, discrepancy. Verification of Aisha's age statement, hadith, has been carried out on this basis. He determines that Aisha's age statement hadith is discrepant, shadhdh, and defective, malal, based on numerous evidences collectively suggesting that Aisha was born 4 years prior to the start of the prophethood. Aisha was betrothed, engaged, to the Prophet in the 10th year of prophethood at the age of 14, and married to him 1 year after the migration, at the age of almost 18. Discrepancy is established based on many evidences including its contradiction of other statements a hadith in Sahih Bukhari, for example, where Aisha explains that by the time she attained awareness her parents were already following Islam. It logically means that she was born prior to their conversion. In addition to exhibiting discrepancies with hadith sources, he also draws upon many biographical sources, such as Ibn Sa'di, Ibn Ishaq, Al-Tabari, Ibn Asakir, Abu Nu'aym, Ibn al-Athir, Ibn Abd al-Bar, and others. On the strength of these evidences he asserts that Aisha's age statements are erroneous/mistaken transmittals. At Tawahum Kal al-Murawi. Greater than why would the Prophet, pbuh, marry a child? Broadly followed by all schools/sects including Shia and Sunnis. Later, 19th century, hadith skeptics, in the face of rationalism, would, however, include Muhammad Abdu, Sir Said Ahmed Khan, Allama Iqbal, etc., followed by Quranists and scripturalists of our times. The hadith skeptics use the argument that since the Ahadith were collected centuries after the death of the Prophet in 632. Also, that the obligations for the Muslims are contained in Quran and if anything else was obligatory would have been ordered by the Prophet to be written down like the Quranic verse and God would have guaranteed their preservation too, like that of the Holy Quran. On the contrary, Prophet forbade writing Ahadith/Sunan, to keep them from being mixed/mingled with the verses. Ahadith and Sunan constitute the second most important source of Islamic teachings, explanation, practical manifestation, and provide an integral structure to the Islamic belief system. By denying/ignoring Hadith and Sunan one cannot claim to be following the Prophet, pbuh, as ordained in the Holy Quran repeatedly. Obey Allah and obey the Prophet, Q. 459. Quran has been referred to as the book of wisdom and guidance, while the Ahadith and Sunan is hikmah, wisdom of explanation/presentation. Q. 4-113. Your companion, Muhammad, has not strayed, nor has he erred, nor does he speak from his own inclination. It is not but a revelation revealed, taught to him by one intense in strength. Q. 53-2-5. There has certainly been for you in the Messenger of Allah an excellent pattern for anyone whose hope is in Allah and the Last Day and who remembers Allah often. Q. 33-21. Here Allah, SWT, has urged/directed believers to emulate the Prophet, pbuh, in seeking reward from Allah, SWT, while making it incumbent upon believers to follow the Prophet in his words and deeds. An esoteric/delicate difference here, however, must be explained that the words of the Holy Quran and their meanings both are revelations from Allah SWT called wahi mutlu, recited. Hadith, on the other hand, are the words of the Prophet, pbuh, but the meanings of Allah SWT called wahi or mutlu, unrecited. Hopefully, this substantiated explanation will clarify the immitigable position of Ahadith and Sunan, putting all doubts to rest. Given the cognizance of human fallibility factor, in relaying a hadith wrongly, in altered form, or with a broken chain of narrators, etc. All Ahadith had been extensively scrutinized and categorized accordingly by the eminent scholars. Many liberals, agnostics, and non-believers, regardless, will still exploit this human fallibility to justify their rejections, doubts, or ignorance. May Allah, SWT, keep us all on the straight path.